Hello beautiful people, welcome back to Gate 3 of Vykas Guy. Today we're going to be quickly going over the major mechanics as well as attack in Gate 3 of Vykas, which will be the final gate of Vykas. Coming into Gate 3 of Vykas, you'll quickly notice that there is a lust gauge above each player head. Over time, the amount of lust you have will slowly decrease, however, anytime you're hit by one of her attacks, the lust will increase instead. And it's very important to manage the amount of lust you have over the entire duration of the fight, and it is very essential for multiple different mechanics. When your lust is at completely 0, you do reduce damage to Vykas. When your lust is above 70%, you do increase damage to Vykas, but you also take more damage. Finally, when your lust is fully filled up 100%, you lose your control and you start attacking your teammate instead. However, any hard CC such as a sleep bomb can lift you from the subduction. With that being said, the first major mechanics begin at 170 bar, which is the swarm mechanics. Two of your players will have a brown light above them, while every other player will have a blue light above them. The two players with brown light should then form a straight line away from the boss, usually people do it on the left side, and wait for the swarm to drop below them. Other player with the blue light should be away and drop the pole away from the swarm, which will be important for the upcoming mechanics. Once that is done, every single player should get on top of the swarm furthest away from Vykas, and then she will charm all of you to walk toward her. If any of you touches her, then you'll die, however, fortunately, the swarm will slow you down so that you don't touch her. This will happen once again at the 75 HP bar threshold, so be sure to practice this a lot because you have to do it twice. The next major mechanics then happen at 155 HP bar, where a bunch of statues will then spawn on the map. However, if you are a player with over 70% lust gauges, instead of seeing statue, you're gonna see sword instead. Your goal here is to find the spot with both a statue and a sword, so the easiest way to do this is for the player who is seeing sword to just ping on every single sword, and the player who is seeing statue, when they see a ping on a statue, that indicate that that is going to be the safe spot. They do kind of come in a set pattern, so you can also try to memorize the pattern as well. The next major mechanic then happened at 135 HP bar. However, before the mechanics begin, you should consume a gold orb with your entire party so that you can reduce the amount of lust gauge you have as much as possible. You then go into a quick cutscene and you'll be met with what they call a boober typing test. Very straightforward here, you just click the key on the screen without getting distracted. The higher lust you have, the less time you have to do it, which is why we got rid of our lust gauge previously. And if 4 or more of your party member fail, then you'll cause a wipe. Otherwise, if 1 to 3 player fail, then she'll do a big AoE damage, so cast your awakening or shield here or damage reduction to survive. To finally close out this mechanic, she'll then follow it with 2 air raid attack. At around 120 HP bar, she'll do another pull attack. However, instead of dropping the pull away from your party, you and your entire party should group up and drop the pull together and immediately try to get max lust as much as possible. Well, once you hit max lust, you'll of course get charm and lose your control. However, it is essential you do this to survive the throne mechanics, where any player who doesn't have max lust will get killed. At 105 HP bar, Vykas will teleport to the middle and do a heavy stagger check. The generic method to do this is to open one of the gold orb and reduce your lust to 0, and then run into Vykas and start the stagger as soon as you see her stagger check bar. After you finish the stagger, however, everyone should immediately time stop to prevent dying through the frog explosion. The frog can only be killed by a player who have 70 lust or higher, but an alternative method here is to use way to not only put the stagger on Vykas, but also to kill one of the frog in the process, and then another player will kill the frog at the bottom left. Doing so prevent the frog from exploding, which means you don't have to time stop or use a gold orb at all. The next mechanics then happen at 55 HP bar, where she will spawn a bunch of tentacle over the map. You want to kill every single tentacle on the map before your time runs out. However, the gimmick here is that you can only damage them if you have higher than 70% lust. Your lust will rapidly drain, however touching a red orb will rapidly increase your lust, so you want to balance the amount of lust you have to make sure you can damage the tentacle, but not so much that you will get charmed. Killing every single tentacle will prevent you from getting killed by the wipe attack. If you're playing in hard mode Vykas, a new mechanics will happen at 40%, where 4 red orb will appear at the times 3+1 position. So 4 unique players need to go grab the orb and then smash spacebar, and that's pretty much it. Before we get into the final mechanics, at around 5 to 10 HP bar, use the last gold orb to reduce everyone's gauge as much as possible to prepare for the final mechanics. In a final struggle, Vykas is going to spawn a bunch of clones all over the map. You want to find the real Vykas and head toward the real Vykas by looking at your minimap. However, make sure you face away from the center or just look at Vykas directly to dodge the Medusa attack. After that, immediately get behind her before she casts her map-wide attack, and she'll cast it directly in front of her. Your goal here is to reduce her stagger bar all the way to 0, so using stuff like Wave or Warring Grenade could definitely help a lot. Vykas will finally follow up with the 2 same air raid attack that you have previously seen before landing into the middle. And then at this point, it's just a race of Vykas getting everyone's Seduction gauge up to 100 first, or you deploying her stagger bar down to 0 first. And if you've successfully done it, congratulations, you have beaten Vykas. With that being said though, while those are the major mechanics, we still have a few major attacks to quickly go through. Let's start with the Medusa attack. In the Medusa attack, she'll have an eye above her head, and then she'll either have 2 wings out, only 1 wings out, or no wings out at all. And based on the amount of wings that she have out, you need to have that many players looking at Vykas while every other player need to look away. In this example, she has 2 wings out, so 2 players need to look at her, while the other 6 players need to look away from her. It really helped to pre-assign people up to 4 people, because she'll do this twice in a row, so you want to have 2 people pre-assigned for the first time, and then 2 people pre-assigned for the second time in case it is 1 or 2 or 0. Vykas will do this spiral flying move where it is going to be counterable right after, so this is a good opportunity to counter her and do a bunch of damage. A counterable charge attack where she does it twice with 2 opportunities to counter. You've seen this one before in phase 2 already. There will be a whale mechanics where she will start with this giant red circle indicating that she is spawning whale. Only a player with higher than 70 lust can see the whale, however there is a very cheap safe spot at the very bottom of the map which you can completely avoid the whale. The player with higher than 70 lust will be able to see this whale, so they can guide the rest of the other player on how to dodge the whales as well. Occasionally, a few of your player will be marked below them, and then a few seconds later they'll drop a pool at where they are. Be sure to run away from your party and drop these pools at the corner of the map to avoid clustering up the battle. With that being said, that is most of the major mechanics as well as attack in Gate 3 of Vykas. If you do have any further questions, I do stream on Twitch, so you can ask me over there and follow me on Twitch as well. But with that being said, as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time.